Hello and welcome to Let Me Bore You to Sleep. This is Sunday Newspapers. La la. Please only listen when you can safely close your eyes. My website is jasonnewland.com. And my Facebook group is Jason Newland's Boring Group. Yeah. As you could tell, I didn't put a lot of effort into that. Only 3 or 4 hours practicing, but hey, don't worry. It's okay. If you didn't appreciate it, it's okay. It's fine. It's fine. Right, hello everyone. It is Sunday the 6th of April 2025, and it is indeed Sunday Newspapers. I got the window open. Do you ever sometimes hear a sound in the background and not really 100% sure, is it a lawnmower or is it a wasp? Is it a lawnmower far away or a wasp quite close? They kind of got that similar kind of sound, don't they? Like a wasp, like tapping on a window. Well, not tapping, but like, you know, near the window. And a lawnmower maybe half a mile away. Maybe a quarter of a mile away. I don't know what the earlobe distance is for hearing a lawnmower at the same volume as a wasp. Should we move on? Okay, all right then. So here's the Sunday papers in the UK of England. Let's start off with the Sunday Mail. Right. As I always try and do, I'm going to miss out the horrible stories, which doesn't leave me a lot to talk about. But I'm gonna have a look. I'm gonna see if there's anything. What it usually means is I end up just reading out the adverts and the horoscopes. But the weather. What's the weather going to be like? Today, Scotland, cloudy morning, clear into a bright and mild afternoon. Rest of Britain, sunny and clear with mild temperatures across regions. Yeah, that pretty much sums up what it looks like out the window. And what it was like when I went out a couple of hours ago. Outlook, Monday, clear skies. Midweek, cloudy with rain. Friday, breezy. Cool. So we got the what does that mean? Cloudy. Aberdeen, maximum 15, minimum 1. Oh, is that temperature? Minimum 1 degrees. That's cold, isn't it? Where am I? I'm in... Right. 16 degrees, minimum 2. That's very cold though, isn't it? Like for spring, 2 degrees. I mean, 15 degrees, it's pretty okay, cool. 16 degrees. Perth, it's actually warmer in Perth than it is where I live. Now, Scotland is quite often a little bit chillier than, because I live near London, so it's very, I guess it's probably just all the pollution and all the heat from all the millions of people that live in this sort of kind of area that makes it a little bit warmer, probably, to be honest. All the traffic, all the motorways and stuff. So there's an emergency helplines. Exchange rate. The exchange rate, US dollars 1.2335, euro 1.1416. So for £1 I get $1.23. and a euro I get 1.14 euros. Is that good or bad? I don't even know. I don't even know. Oh, last night's estimated jackpot is 7.4 million. So I'm going to read out the numbers. Now, if you're in this country and you've won, please share. Please share. Send me something. Because you might have just done the lottery and just assumed, oh, it's another, like any other week. It's just the... But when you hear me read the numbers out, you might suddenly realise, oh yeah, that's my numbers. I've been doing the same numbers for 6,000 years and they've finally come up. But I wouldn't have even known until that weird man on the internet read it out on that strange audio thing he does. So here we go. This is the numbers 10, 26, 33, 53, 57, 59, 18. I don't know if 18 is the bonus ball. And then the Thunderball, I'm not quite sure what that is. 18, 19, 22, 32, 33, and the bonus ball is 7. I'm guessing that the ball that's in yellow is the bonus ball. I have a little bit of a memory of it. The first time I did the lottery was in 1995 when they launched it in this country, and I've probably done it maybe 10 times over the years, over 30 years. Right, so what we've got, clarifications and corrections. Okay, right, so bought a lot of nonsense. Government plans to replace more than 1,000 civil service jobs in Scotland with artificial intelligence bots is pure rhetoric, with technology more likely to create jobs, if has claimed. Okay. Yeah. Well, with my very basic knowledge of AI, I don't know how much I would trust it with like really, really important things, as such as putting people's well-being in its hands at this point, until it's been really tried and tested. But there's so much can be done on automatic tasks that can be set up, especially things like sending out emails, even, blimey, some of the bots they have now can probably do just as good a job as quite a few of the telephone staff. I say quite a few because some people on the telephones in call centres are, just in my opinion, not all of them are suited to be doing that job. And that also goes from my own experience of having worked with people that really were not suited for doing that kind of job. And in some ways I wasn't suited for it either, but I was quite good at it. But I was a bit temperamental at times, but I managed to keep a rein on it. But at the same time, there's some really, really great people answering the phones at electric companies and banks and stuff. So I've dealt with lots of different types of people. But I think the one thing that I would argue, I won't get all serious here, and the one thing my biggest complaint about call centres is the staff don't know the answers to the questions. It's not their fault. It's because they're clearly not trained with the information. Now AI will have the answers, and the answers won't change depending upon the mood. And also, I noticed when I worked in call centres, you'd ask a supervisor, 3 different supervisors, the same exact question and get 3 different answers. And anyone that's worked in a call centre will probably recognise that. Because a lot of the team leaders and supervisors don't actually know what they're doing. They might be good at motivating, they might be friendly, and they might make the working environment like pleasant, which is really important. But as far as knowledge, they may not know. I had a team leader of one of the first sales jobs I had in a call centre, and his answer was always the same. So I'd say, please, Eric, whatever his name was, they want to know if they get a van insurance, will they be able to do this and that, whatever the question was. Because it was motor insurance, what I dealt with. And he said, what do you think? That was it. That was his get out of jail card. What do you think? Always put it back on me. And I think once I said, well, if I knew the answer, I wouldn't ask you, would I? But it'd make me like, oh, what do you think? He said, But then he'd agree to what I just said, even if it was wrong. And then I get told off, like 2 weeks down the road when I'd like sap a wrong policy. But he didn't have to take any responsibility for it because there was no comeback from him. So yeah, bless. I'd love to be top dog at the games. Hoops fan Snoop Doggy Dog says he wants to help kick off the 2026 Commonwealth Games in Glasgow if the opening ceremony is held at Celtic Park. I guess he must be a Celtic Park fan, maybe. The rappers he carried the Olympic torch on the final leg of its journey to the Stade de France in Paris last year, and the Drop It Like It's Hot star 53 wants to repeat the accolade with the King's baton next summer if the opening bash returns to Parkhead, where it was held in 2014. I might be a Celtic fan, but I think most people, Celtic fans or not, recognise as one of the greatest stadiums in the world. I might be a Celtic fan. He hasn't said he is a Celtic fan, though, is it? I might be a Celtic fan, but it doesn't mean he is. He hasn't said he is a Celtic fan. Is it Celtic or Celtic? One of them. So, exclusive parents speak out over. Nope. Can't read that. What have we got? We will fight for investment, jobs, scare. Is it really weird? Liz Truss, the American government person in charge, is now being compared to Liz Truss due to making choices that has sent the financial world into chaos, which is what Liz Truss did when she became Prime Minister. She suddenly did a mini budget and the stock market fell, interest rates went up, everything just, which, I mean, she wasn't given a chance. She had the job for 6 weeks or something. If it was less than that, I don't know. But she was just really excited. Second female Prime Minister. One of the youngest Prime Ministers as well, I think, because she was, I don't know how old she is, just younger than me, I think. So, you know, a lot of the Prime Ministers in this country have been well over 50. Not all of them, but I'd say probably most of them. I think Tony Blair was in his 40s. David Cameron was in his 40s. But the more recent ones, I suppose, a bit younger. Sunak, he was in his 40s. Or maybe he was in his early 50s. I think he was in his 40s. And yeah, the current one's in his 60s, early 60s. It looks pretty good for 60. I don't fancy him, I'm just saying it looks good in 60s. Because, what's his name? Shakira Starmer. Large firms must probe staff claims. Peers this week called for large employers to be legally required to investigate claims made by whistleblowers in the wake of the post office scandal and the collapse of outsourcing firm Carillion. Campaigners say a gap in the law has allowed some of the UK's biggest scandals to escalate. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's hard. So, anyone that's ever worked for a big company, and I've worked for a couple, well actually, yeah, probably more than a couple, quite a few big companies, but I suppose the biggest companies I worked for, and I worked at Sunblest Bakery, which was huge company, was a huge, I can't imagine there's a bigger bakery in the country at the time. But Sunblest made a bread, and I don't know if they sent them all around the world or all around Europe, I'm not sure. I don't know how many different places Sunblest had factories, unless that was the only one. Churchill was a really big company as well when I worked there. I'm trying to think of, so I've worked for a few big companies. I'd say probably Churchill was the most, I'm going to say it's the most professional, but it was the one where I saw more, it seemed to be the most, very professional, put together, like with a PR, an HR department. Took things seriously, because I had to make a complaint about a supervisor who threatened to give me disciplinary for having time off, being ill. And I never said any. It's just like ridiculous, isn't it? I think the ridiculous thing for me, I'm just moaning now, aren't I? And this isn't like just making it up, at the time I was one of the top sellers on the dance floor at the time. I wasn't I'd say probably number 2, like consistently, as far as, because if you look at, it's not always how many sales you get, it's also conversion and all that stuff. But I was definitely pretty much always in the top 5 out of maybe 200 people, maybe 250, I don't know. They had a big Excel of increased staff for at one point, because it's big, very big company. And I think Lloyd's TSB bought them out. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And that was quite early days, 2002 time. So I would have thought that I would be someone that generally they'd want to look after. I mean, they should look after everyone. But I was, I tell you the difference, right? And I sometimes think that I should just, if I'd have gone a different route, if I hadn't had the problems, the illness and all the mental stuff, I think I'd have been quite a good sales trainer. because there's a few things. There's very little difference between someone that's really rubbish, like as far as results go. That's what I mean. That get rubbish results. They might be really, really good at the job, really friendly, like do everything really well, but don't get many sales. So the difference between that person and someone that gets a good amount of sales. So like the middle rung, if everybody's on the middle rung, they'll make more money. I mean, they've got those people in the top rung, but there's only a few of those. The ones in the middle, if they can move the ones from the bottom to the middle, they can get rid of the ones at the top, because they're going to make more money consistently, more sales consistently. I don't get rid of it. Obviously, you're not going to get rid of the top, but so the only thing they have to do to move the ones at the bottom to the middle, as far, and when I say at the bottom, I'm talking about sales only. I'm not talking about quality. I'm not talking about personality. I'm not talking about, you know, person's worth, because they're worth just as much as anyone else, and they might be much better at the job than the people at the top, because in my experience, having listened to a lot of those calls, the people at the top sometimes miss out corners. They focus more on the sales rather than the quality of what they're doing, and the customer may not always know what they're getting. I know there's a lot more rules now to make sure that doesn't happen, but back then when I first started, there wasn't so much, and the rules came in and more scripts were being read. So there's a lot of obstacles to sales. It got to the point where it wasn't really sales anymore. But the only difference, and I realised this right from quite early on, because I used to put people next to me because they could ask me questions, but at the same time, a new person who perhaps wasn't doing very well, or maybe someone's been there a while wasn't doing very well, they'd stick them sitting next to me for a week or two, and their sales would go up just by being near me, because it's quite hard, but you find yourself mimicking the person next to you. I didn't, because I didn't want to be rubbish. Oh, but if it's kind of natural to sort of, because I'd say some silly things and make the customers laugh and stuff. So, and I noticed they were saying the same things. I was like, that's my joke, because quite often it'd be the same line, just different people, but they'd be hearing it for the first time. I actually had one person, he got so annoyed with me because he was better at me, actually. This is the third insurance company I worked for, and he was way better than I was. And at that time, I wasn't at my peak anymore, and I wasn't doing great generally. And it wasn't long before I had to leave. But it snowed every month for 6 months. Not all month, but every single month it snowed. And there was a period when it was snowing, and it was just like going on, seemed to be going on forever. This was 2013, December, January, February, March, April. It was snowing. So like through all those different months at different times. I'm not saying there was snow on the ground the whole time, because there wasn't. But there was a few times when it was like snowdrifts. There's really a lot of snow that year. And I haven't had hardly any snow for ages. Now I've said that, it'll probably be snowing next week. It's weird, because the last time it snowed and settled was the week that I got Vinny. And I've had Vinny for 2 years months. Can you believe it? So not last December, not the December before that, but the December before that. So last December was 2004. December before that was 2004, 23 rather. So 2024, 2023, 2022. So the last time it really properly snowed and settled where I'm living was pretty much the first week or within the first 10 days of December 2022. Nothing since. We've had a few little bits of snow. I think there's a couple of times when it snowed and it's just basically melted before I got out of bed, or before I've gone out. Bearing in mind I do go out, regularly with the little one who's asleep on the sofa behind me. He's having a very lazy, we're both having a very lazy day today, to be honest. Oh yeah, so this bloke, what I was doing is I was asking all the customers, is it snowing where you are? Is it snowing? And I said, can you believe we've had snow for the last 6 months? So he was listening to me saying this to the customers all day, every day, for, 4 months? And he was getting so annoyed with me because he knew that within a minute of me speaking to a new customer, he'd hear the sentence, hear the question, is it snowing where you are? So I had to keep it going even further. So once I was still doing it in August, just because I knew it annoyed him. Ah, bless. So I always thought it was funny, but he didn't. He might have done. Oh, I had one bloke I worked with. He was the other side of me. He'd been there for a while. He used to find it hilarious to tell me the wrong thing. So I'd be on the phone with a customer. I was new, bearing in mind I'd only been there since December 2000 and... This might have been 2012 actually. 2012? December 2012. I think it was, yeah, and then through 2013. So I was sitting next to him on one side. The other one was the one that was they were both good, but one was really, really the top seller, and the other one was a part-time football coach. He found it hilarious to tell me the wrong stuff. So I'd be on a call and I'd sort of put them on hold. I just need to ask my supervisor a quick question because I'm new here, which I was. I'd just be honest to people. So I'd put them on hold and I'd ask, I don't know, Dominic or whatever his name was, and he'd give me the answer completely straight. And even after the amount of times that he kept telling me the wrong thing, I would say, is this definitely? He said, yeah, it's true. So I'd tell the customer, and then he'd start laughing. That's like, I mean, at least he laughed while I was still on the phone, so I could say, oh, sorry, I think I got the wrong information. At the beginning, he'd laugh after the phone call was finished. And a couple of times I got in trouble. I said, but I'm asking him. I said, why are you asking him? He's not a supervisor. I said, no, but we had the supervisor I had is a team leader. Now I'm going to say he's a really nice bloke, so I'm not saying anything bad about him, because he's a really nice bloke. But he was very enthusiastic. And you might think, well, that's a good thing. Yeah, but he was kind of grumpy if other people weren't enthusiastic as well. So we'd all get into work at 6 in the morning or 7 in the morning, whatever time it was. And he'd be full of beans and not everybody's a morning person. In those days, I was not a morning person. I kind of am now, but I wasn't then. And it'd be, hey, hello, everyone. And like, yeah, all right. And he'd get the right ump. It really gets so annoyed with everyone for not, like, what do you want, cartwheels? I mean, I don't know what you want us to do. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to draw you a picture of a happy face? I don't know. What do you want to cuddle? Is it a cuddle you want? I just didn't know, you know. And here's how strange things were by then, because, you know, it changed a bit since I was last in a call centre. There'd been a lot of it wasn't verbal communication anymore, it was all emails. So he'd be pointing at me, like going like that, like wave. You can't see what I'm doing, can you? He was waving to me over the desk while I'm on a call to a customer, and he's pointing to his computer, which meant he was pointing to my computer, you know, which meant, why have I not answered my email? Because I'm talking to a customer. I'm doing the job I'm supposed to be doing. You know, I like to focus on what I'm doing. I'm not going to keep going on to, keep going on emails while I'm in the middle of a conversation with someone. And he gets so angry, like, whoa. It's kind of funny, really. But there was one really weird moment. And the thing is, it was a strange environment when I worked there, because they took me on this in December. And I don't know why they were taking people on, because, and this same thing happened with every single insurance job I had. Churchill sold to, I think, Lloyd's TSB within, within a month of me starting. I think it was even during my training, but within a month of me starting. So before I started September 2021, before Christmas, I think they'd basically sold to Lloyd's TSB, or the sale was going through. I was still working for the company. It was still Churchill, but we were also dealing more as a broker. So we were dealing for, you know, selling car insurance to Lloyd's TSB customers, which was really good. It was, you know, but it was still Churchill. I don't know. It's complicated the way they put it all together. I still don't understand it. 75 years later. Well, so that was the first one that happened. The second one, they sold the company probably. Yeah, I was still there. So they sold it. Excuse me. Within. I started there September. Was it August 2020? 2004 and 2005. So it's probably 2005. They sold it. Because it was they sold it to another company, a bigger company. So that was the second time. The third time, we literally got a letter in our training. I think it was a 3-week training. We got a letter saying, the company's been sold and it's been bought by an equity company, which means no one knows what's going to happen. I said, okay. So I've just come and worked here. I've just started this job. I still had Mondays off to be a counsellor. So I was running both at the same time, but there's no money. There's no money coming in from that. It's like, I was having like maybe 3 clients a day, if that. Probably sometimes less. So anyway, I was like, okay, all right then. That got really weird because they did start laying people off. Now, I've been through the old redundancy, not myself, but in a place where they're making people redundant twice now, and they were the last two insurance companies. And that was just, yeah, I wouldn't suggest it. I wouldn't recommend it. It's not nice. But I couldn't believe it was happening again. So I'm in this third insurance company, and the owner of the equity company, or he was in charge of like the company trying to sort out the equity. So an equity company bought it, but they didn't know what they were going to do with it. And that, I don't know if he was the owner or the manager, but he came in and we all sat around. All the phones got turned off. Everyone came in and sat down. Bearing in mind, I think they'd already made redundant, they'd already closed down one department, which was the motorbikes. So they'd already made those redundant. And over this period, because no one knew what was going to happen, people were leaving. Like every week, like 2 or 3 people were just leaving because they were people looking for other jobs. So, and they weren't replacing anyone because they couldn't. So the staff was dwindling down. It's a very strange environment. There was times when there was like, there's hardly anyone here. Just because that shift pattern happened to be the shift pattern where people had sort of gone. And yeah, it's very strange. So, or perhaps they were on holiday, because you know, you still have to let people have holidays, don't you? Well, at this one point we was all around, so there's still probably at least 100 people, if not more, still there. But that was from all. How many floors was there? 1, 2, 3 floors. One. I mean, one of the floors was huge. It went all the way around. It's a big, massive building, which was near the train station. And it's now, I think they either knocked it down or they converted it to flats. You know, probably about 10 years ago. This is quite a long, yeah, blimey. It's quite a while back. Or maybe not 10 years ago, but. So they had everyone all around, and this man sat in the front, and they're just talking to everyone. And he was telling everyone basically, we don't know what's going to happen. Genuinely don't understand, and we understand if you go and look for other jobs. I mean, at least he was honest. And the only person really in that sort of kind of situation that's gonna, I don't want to say benefit, I mean that's going to have any kind of financial reward for bankruptcy would be someone that's been working there a long time. And again, it's not a reward, is it, if you lost your job? But in call centres, can you hear that? It's quite a loud old plane. In the call centre, they do have a lot of turnover of staff, especially in sales. So and also a lot of young people, younger than me, who would find it really easy to get another job in another call centre. They might have to travel to a different town, because the original town I worked in a call centre was full of call centres. But the town I live in now doesn't have so many. And he said, oh, well, if you need to just, you know, you need to go, if you do whatever you need to do. But, you know, we do appreciate you staying, and we do appreciate your hard work. It's just one of those things. Basically, it seemed like what was going to happen, the reason why the equity company bought this company, and they were going around buying different insurance companies, because they wanted to sell the books, not the books, basically the customers. They wanted to sell the customers on to another company. So it was not about the staff, it wasn't about anything like that. It was just about, what do they call it? Maybe it was the books, or maybe there was a name for it, I forget what it was. Well, I said, he said, is there any questions? My supervisor said, he didn't, I don't know if he stood up, but he sort of interjected quite quickly. Oh, I'd just like to thank you on behalf of all of us. What a great job you've done, and thank you so. And we couldn't stop, but we could not laugh at that, because he was sucking up to the boss. But the boss, there was no benefit in doing that. I mean, no one was being rude to the boss, but there was no point in sucking up to him, because he was, he didn't know anything about the company. He had no emotional interest in the insurance company that I was working for, because he was, into just buying companies and then just selling them on, dissecting the goods, maybe selling the property, and I don't know how it all works. So a few of us started laughing, and he wasn't impressed. And I think that the bloke at the front said, it was two of them, there was another bloke there, and he said, because he was playing music at the beginning, and it had a slideshow and everything explaining how it all worked. And he said, well, we've got some music we should play out, maybe, just to recognise everyone's hard work, and to, I don't know, something appropriate for this moment. Any ideas for a song? And I shouted out, yeah, The Final Countdown. And my supervisor gave me a look. He wasn't happy. The thing is, he's genuinely nice bloke, really nice bloke. So I'm not being rude. He's a really nice person, much nicer than me. So I'm not going to be rude, but it was just funny. It was a bit funny. Penny shoe rack cost us a few pounds. Penny Mordaunt claimed taxpayers' money to have a shoe rack removed when she lost her seat. Why would you replace this? So you needed to put your seat in where the shoe rack was. You think she'd be able to afford a house that's got enough room for a shoe rack and a seat? The former Tory MP and Paymaster General claimed £642 for a van and a driver to collect 19 boxes plus a shoe rack from an office in the Houses of Parliament 4 days after the election. MPs were entitled to expenses to wind up their offices after losing their seat. Oh, so she got to pay it to get them to get her stuff out of her office. I'll be honest with you. And what I'm about to say is very superficial. It's partly superficial, probably all superficial. Penny Mordaunt had it all to lose. What I mean is, she lost it on her personality. And how do you do that when you're involved? It's like, I just can't. She was involved in the royal wedding, the king's wedding. Or was it the king's coronation? The king's crowning. Sorry, not the wedding. Or was she in fact? I don't know, I think it was the coronation. She was there holding the sabre, wobbling it about. The sabre was still. And so she's there being watched by probably billions of people around the world, because, royal family are popular, probably more popular abroad than they are here. So probably at least 1 billion people were watching that live stream, and she was on there. She was dressed amazingly. She looked great, as I'm sure everyone did, you know. But she stood out. She was in all the newspapers, and I would say she was popular. And this wasn't very long ago. I mean, it was like, what, 2023? And then a year later, she loses her seat as an MP. Now, you might think, yeah, but it's a different, you know, the Labour got in, different government. Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. That's a good answer. But quite often, famous like really, you know, well-known politicians quite often keep their seats forever, because especially if they're celebrities, quite often they just keep their seats, just, you know, even if they're not around much, even if they're not in Parliament, or they are in Parliament, or they're on the front benches or on the back benches. Some are just famous, they're like celebrities, and they'll keep their seat as long as they want to, some of them generally. But she lost her seat. So I don't know what she did. I don't follow it really enough to know, but on July the 8th, so literally within like a year of her walking down the aisle in front of was Prince Charles, and then became King. Well, no, he already was King Charles, wasn't he? By name, but he hadn't officially been coronated. I don't know what that means. Coronated? Coronated chicken. I don't know, isn't it sort of a kind of a, what's a cooking? A way to cook, isn't it? I just don't get it. I think she had everything to lose, or everything to win. I'm not sure, whatever the term is. She had it all. Kind of, it seemed to be all going for her. I was just really surprised that she lost her seat. Just was. She seemed like a. I think what it was. I think if she hadn't tried to become Prime Minister, or to become. Did she try and become leader of the Conservative Party? Yeah, she did, didn't she? And she tried to become the Prime Minister, because there was I mean, blimey, we had like 4 Prime Ministers in 6 months at one point. I mean, we had a lot of Prime Ministers. I mean, 2000, what do we have? David Cameron 2010. Then after David Cameron, we had some others. Right. Oh. We had one. David Cameron. He left. Don't even know why he left, to be honest. Oh, he left after Brexit, didn't he? How about this? For those that don't know, Brexit's a made-up word. It's basically just exiting, Britain exiting. That's kind of what. Oh, what? Stop it! I didn't want that to happen. That's so not okay. Gone now. Good. No, the iPad's playing up, or my finger's playing up. So, what? You know, if you want, let's say you're in charge. You're the prime. Let's say you're the Prime Minister, right? And it's something that you don't want to happen. So the Prime Minister, David Cameron, did not want us to leave Europe. He didn't want us to leave Europe. So what he did to ensure that we didn't leave Europe, bearing in mind he's in charge at this point of this country. He is the Prime Minister. So what he did to ensure that we didn't leave Europe was hold a referendum, offering the public the chance to vote on whether or not we left Europe or stayed. That was what he did. That was his best solution on how to stay in Europe, when all he had to do was, let me think, nothing. He didn't have to do a single thing. Just, we're staying in Europe, that's it. You can't force him to. You can't force a Prime Minister to have a referendum. Ask Scotland. They've been going on about it for years. They want another referendum. And that's why there can never, ever be another referendum for the Brexit. Because as soon as that's called, Scotland will have to have another referendum for Scottish independence. Because you can't say, okay, you can't do it. There's no way of doing it otherwise. So, and I don't think the Parliament want that for whatever reason. Okay, I don't know enough about politics to understand the wheeze and the poos about it, but she had everything. She lost it. Penny, what's her name? So Penny's rack cost her, shoe rack, cost us a few pounds. It's weird. I thought she was going to go on to be like a big old celebrity, you know, just because I know it's superficial, because she looked good at the Prince King's what's it? It became clear early okay, let's have a look. Robert Carlyle, before Begbie came kicking and cursing in our cinemas in Trainspotting, Carlyle played, this is Robert Carlyle, Phil McCann, a slab boy who spends his day grinding paint at Dundee Rep. Okay. So this is the Sunday List Actors' Big Breaks. Robbie Coltrane appeared in the first production of a play called Spanky. Okay. Alan Cummings. I never kind of got my head around where Alan Cummings was from, or even who he was. I kind of recognise his face, but I don't know anything he's really been in, which is weird. I probably do, just it's weird, isn't it? The Byrne Legacy, Scots playwright. Okay, Kevin Bacon. The actor's career was already on the rise when he starred in The Slab Boys in New York without capturing the kind of headlines Penn received. But within a year of Byrne's play, he was making Footloose. I like Kevin Bacon. He did a TV show. Vinny, do you want to say hello to everyone? Vinny, just say hello to everyone. Oh, that's nice. A bit rude, but oh well. Do you want to open the window? Whew. Let's say hello to everyone. Yeah. I've got an order coming from Sainsbury's. Just a bit of groceries because I'm running out. So it should be here by 2:30. It's now 11 minutes past 2. What is it? The watching, or the wanted, or something? The Elton loses. Okay. Do you ever get people that just they don't. So I was talking to someone and they're saying, "Oh, um, Big Brother's on." Oh, no, what is it? No. Oh, they were talking about a TV show that they liked. No, that is what I said. I said, "Have you seen Laugh Out Last? Last One Laughing, sorry, Last One Laughing." And she said, "No, but I watched this, like, not what is it, what are you talking about, but no, but I will like this program, it's on Saturday nights," that had nothing to do with what I was talking about. So, but it's okay, fair enough. And then she said, "Oh, that's just it's really good. I like it." I said, "Oh, well, so I'm looking forward because Big Brother starts on Monday." And she basically did a big massive poo over that idea. "Oh, it's rubbish. That's great. I used to like it, but it's crap." "But Britain's Got Talent's on tonight. That'll be good." It's like, are you not aware of how communication works? You don't, it's like, you don't have to be horrible about something that someone else likes and then expect them to listen to something that you like. Because I try not to spray all over someone else's likes. If they like it, if they're into something that I'm not into, I've learned over the years, I just try and, okay, cool. It's not my thing, but good. I probably wouldn't say that. I'd just say, "Oh, good, cool." Unless, of course, they want to talk about it, then I'll say, "Stop." Stop. But it's just strange, like, why you got to be so negative about something that I like to watch? Yet you're going to gush about something you like. I mean, I used to like to watch what's his name? Britain's Got Talent. I've not seen it for years, but I used to like it. But the thing is, with Big Brother, it stopped. They stopped it for a few years. Well, for quite a few years, in fact. And then they brought it back. And I was just grateful to have it back, because I do like it. I've always been a fan of Big Brother. But I'll admit, the last 2 years I didn't really watch it. The last year I didn't, because I didn't have a television. So it was kind of like, you know what? It's something to look forward to now. But I don't get why people... Oh, look, this shark bait. Rocker-turned-eco campaigner Fergal Sharkey has challenged the boss of Scottish Water to drink a glass of river water amid a row over dumping stuff. It always reminds me just that, the idea of drinking out of a river. I mean, you'd have to be pretty thirsty to do that anyway. But it's kind of... I just remember the Bill Gates, seeing him in the... I don't know what country he was in, but he was in a country which was in need of more water. And there was this big machine that was built, and it could turn poo into water. This isn't a joke, this is actually true. And he was at the other end. You didn't see the first bit. You didn't see him climb on and like crouch down and do a big poo. But you saw the end bit. And someone's like basically a little tap, huge big old thing, and this little tap at the end, and poured some water. And Bill Gates, he'd financed this whole thing. And he was clearly feeling good about himself, and so he should. But I don't think what happened next, I don't think he was expecting, because the assistant handed him the cup of water to drink. He handed it to Bill. And I swear, for a second there, like, really? Isn't it enough that I've just given you 100 million to build this thing, and I'm here promoting it? You want me to drink that? I mean, don't get me wrong, but isn't one of the benefits of being one of the richest people on the planet so that I don't have to drink poo? I don't have to drink poo water. That is kind of be a benefit. But he did it, bless him. I mean, it's amazing, this technology. And I know Bill Gates is the biggest farm owner in the US, or biggest landowner, farm owner. Well, probably both. And he, there's a lot of people who, they're not big fans of rich people and stuff. I'm down with the rich. I don't mind. I don't people's bank balances doesn't affect me if they're a decent person. And he's doing a lot of really good stuff. If you forget all the conspiracies, some of which might be true, I have no idea. But he's been trying to get rid of mosquitoes. And he's saved so many lives over the last 20 years or something. So there's a lot of stuff, good stuff they do, but it's just natural, when you look at the newspapers, they're not going to focus on that, are they? Social media firm backs, okay, 10,000 thank yous from, nope, another one I can't read out. I keep getting emails asking me about, offering me cheap will writing kits. I mean, it's changed now. Now I'm getting to 55. It's the spam email I get is changing, or the emails, the adverts I see online are changing. Before, it was all about Viagra. When I was in my late 40s and early 50s, do you have trouble getting stiff? No, go away, leave me alone. I'm not answering that. It's like, are you not noticing what I'm looking at right now? But yeah, it's just, now it's wills. What's next? Oh yeah, and not just wills, hair replacement places. That's another thing they're aiming at my age group. It's almost like they can see me. Right, let's have a look. Oh, look at this. Call to force landlords to make repairs. Slum landlords, that was very sloppy when I said that, slum landlords could be banned from hiking rents in properties that aren't up to standards under plans being considered by MSPs. Oh, it's Scottish. Oh, this is a Scottish page. Yeah. Good. It's ridiculous that I've lived in a lot of slum places over the years, and I tell you, slum landlords don't only rent out horrible rooms, sometimes they rent out nice rooms, but do no repairs and overcharge. That's also a slum landlord as far as I'm concerned. Someone that overcharges, someone that will not make repairs. And I don't know, just dodgy. How many slum landlords have I had? Okay, quite. Okay, probably not a huge amount to be fair, but I've lived in a lot of rooms, and quite a few of them, the landlord or the landlady lived in that house as well. So I'm trying to think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 technically. No, 8. Yeah, at least 8 of the places that I've lived in, 9 have been owned by the landlady, or so they've lived in the same house. That's what I mean. And yeah, it's one of those things, like, if I could go back I'd do something different, but the reality is I can't go back. I can't change it. I can't. I was listening to this Buddhist lecture, or this Buddhist talk, and it was I don't know if it's Tibetan or Shaolin, and it's basically just saying, I guess what we all really know, but is trying to just let go of the past. And I talk about it. I know I do. I think it's probably, maybe it's because I talk about the past so much in my recordings. Perhaps this is why I can't let it go. But I don't really talk about any nasty stuff, do I, in these recordings? I just talk about some silly things that happen sometimes and other times, But yeah, I quite like the idea of, there is sometimes when I'm kind of just, I'm going to say meditating. It's not really meditating, but it probably is meditating, where I just got my eyes closed and I focus on it's almost like, I suppose I'm kind of looking up. I've got my eyes closed, I'm kind of looking up, but it's almost like I'm looking inside, behind my eyes, focusing on behind my eyes. And there's a certain feeling I get, which is, I suppose, maybe expansive, in a sense of, it's calming, it's peaceful, but at the same time it's not eliminating all sounds around me, because weirdly, maybe it's weird, when I'm meditating or when I'm relaxing, no music, no nothing, I like the sounds of background. Like there's someone doing some drilling or something out there. And I like, because it's in the moment, it's what's happening now. And I don't mind that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's alright. So I suppose when I'm in that moment, I am like, when I do that, when I'm in that kind of zone, I am here now, as it were. I'm not concerned about the future or the past. It's just like, okay, this is me now. And I do like that feeling. I do. I really do. An American YouTuber has hit back at online trolls who accused her of faking an online video of her playing the bagpipes, which went viral. 2.6 million views. 2.6 million people listened to her playing the bagpipes. I mean, good for her. But yeah, it's not my. Yeah, again, good for her. I'm just, out of all the instruments, I've never, yeah, it's not my favourite out of all the instruments. Bagpipes. It's not. I don't find it the most relaxing. You know, it's when I'm laying down. On the occasions when I'm kind of thinking, oh, I just want to go to sleep. You know, it's just done. I had enough for the day. I just want to go to sleep. I don't think. I wish there was someone playing bagpipes in my bedroom, so I could gently fall asleep. It's not. It's not quite that kind of instrument. Violin, I like. I mean, I used to play the violin, but I wasn't any good at it. I like the piano, but unfortunately, I don't. Maybe it's just me being too sensitive, but because I listen to Amazon Music, the piano just too clicky. You can hear. It's almost like they got the microphone inside the keys, and you can just hear like that, as well as the sound. If you can hear that, that's me like tapping. And I don't want to hear that. I just want to hear the piano. And I'm pretty sure you didn't get that with Richard Chamberlain back in when he was like the top pianist in the 80s. What else have we got? Oh dear. Right, my delivery is a minute away. I'll tell you. Let's quickly do my forecast, my stars. Virgo. This is when what's been up in the This is when what's been up in the air or going through some sort of assessment may come to a turning point with Monday's station of ruler planet Mercury. That's got to be the longest sentence I've read for a long time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. 28 words. 28 words is not a sentence. I mean, it's not a paragraph, but it's definitely too long for a sentence. There may be encouraging career news. Blimey. Maybe there's someone out there listening to this thinking, you know what? Let's invest. Let's invest in this little monkey. This cheeky little monkey. Let's just, I don't know, write a book, give him a book contract, or let's buy out all of his recordings, all the thousands of recordings, and give him £1 million. There you go, there's £1 million. We'll buy everything you've done, and then we can just maybe, make it available, and just as a thank you. 19 years for your 19 years of work. Yeah. Dear cheeky little monkey, we would like to offer you a book deal. Your life sounds so interesting. We thought it might be maybe do a 5-book deal and do 1 book a year over 5 years, and we'll pay you 100 million per book. Oh, my thing's arriving now. So I'm going to go because I've not even got through the whole. Yeah, I've got through the whole of this paper, so I managed to get through 1 paper. So thank you for listening. Remember to be kind to yourself, because you do deserve to be happy. You do deserve to be happy. And be kind to yourself. Be gentle with yourself. You do deserve to be safe, to feel safe. I didn't get any of that right, did I? You'd think after saying the same thing every recording for years, I'd be able to get the wording correct. Anyway, remember to be kind to yourself, because you do. I'm not going to try and say it again because it's going to sound worse. It's not going to sound sincere either, is it? Just take care. Lots of love. Bye.